Hi there, Lisa Rana here, and welcome to another Assemble This video. Today's card is all about a shabby chic look with a barn wall background and a pop of color from those gorgeous yellow flowers. We'll do some stamping, distressing, and watercoloring to get this look. I'm featuring a bunch of Unity stamp kits, the flowers from You Are Forever Beautiful, also this barn wall background stamp, and then the sentiment, which is Today We Celebrate You from the Every Single Day sentiment kit. I'm starting out by creating my background. I have some crafts cardstock and my mini MISTI, and I'm inking up my stamp with some dark brown chalk ink by Colorbox. I'll stamp this a couple times just to make sure I get a nice solid impression. I want to make sure that you can see the boldness of that brown against that craft cardstock. So that's why I'm doing it a couple times. It's not necessary. You could do this with an acrylic block as well. I just love my MISTI just so I can get that nice dark impression. So I'm using some distress inks to kind of distress up my wood grain background here. And I'm just wiping it in side to side motions just to kind of get that wood grain look in just 3 different colors here. So I'm doing layer after layer, not being too meticulous about making sure every area is covered. And now I'm just stamping my floral image with that same dark brown Colorbox chalk ink onto some watercolor paper. And I'm doing that a couple times. Mainly because, again, I want a really nice crisp image, but I also want it really juicy because next I'm going to be covering that with some embossing powder. And I want to create good ridges. And so it really has to be juicy and a good, nice amount of ink for that embossing powder to adhere. So I'm doing that, shaking that off, and then using my heat tool just to set that embossing powder. Now I'm using some distress inks in 3 different colors of yellow, 3 different shades. So from lightest to darkest, I have scattered straw, and then the medium is mustard yellow, and the darkest is wild honey. I start with my lightest color just to cover all the blooms, just to get a nice base coat. And then I come in with the middle shade and just add a little bit of interest to the bottom of the petals or around the center of the flowers, just where you kind of think where the darker image is going to be, just from natural light. It's going to create some shade. So anything that's behind something else is going to be darker. So that's why I go in and kind of darken up those areas. So after I'm done with the middle shade, I go in with the deepest, darkest color of yellow, and I'm doing the center of the flowers, again where it's going to be the darkest, and then kind of the bottoms of the petals and where the light has a harder time to reach, which means that it's probably behind something else, which is creating a bit of shade. So that's how I work. I usually use 2 to 3 shades of the same color just to create a bit of depth of image, just based on nature, on how light falls. So that's what I'm doing with the blooms. I have these 3 shades and I'm just kind of going in and creating a bit of pop. So next I'm doing the same thing with the leaves. I'm only using 2 colors here just because there's not a large surface area to create color. So I don't need as many variances in shades. So I'm going down with a light color of the green over all the floral images. And it's not really technical. I'm just following the image of the stamp and making sure everything's just kind of has a little bit of a layer of color. And then I'm going in with the darker image again towards the center, or anything that might be beneath something else. That's going to create some shadow and interest to the image, so it creates more of a pop to your eye. So I let my flowers dry completely, which is really important with watercolor. And then I'm just coming in with my scissors and I'm going to fussy cut everything out. not being real careful to keep all those dots and background images just because they're not so important to this particular card design. So here we have a bit of an idea where that floral image is going to go. And now I need to do a bit of card surgery because I didn't plan this out. I need to get some ribbon in here. So I cut a slit into the crease of the card with my scissor. And I'm just going to thread in this piece of string through that slit that I had cut. And it's going to take some tools. Here I'm just going to use the edge of my scissor just to push that thread through and then pull it. And I'm going to do that a couple times here. Take some time to kind of finagle and pull it around. And I want to make sure that I have a nice tail on the other end. So I pull that through and then I push it through with my scissors again. And then one more time, I'm going to push it through. And there we go. Now we have it all thread through, so I have this nice little edge of string. And I'm going to trim off the excess and then just wrap that around my finger. My fingers, 3 of them. Just that's the size that I'm looking for. And I wrap it around 3 times, which is going to give me a bit of a bow. And then I'm going to use the tail of the string from the card and tie that around that bit of twine. And that's going to create a bit of a bow, which is really kind of messy and interesting how I have 2 tails, but this perfect little bow tied in the center. Last, I'm going to add a bit of foam adhesive to pop up those flowers to the front of my card. I'm going to finagle it around my bow and then just trim off the excess just because I don't like things hanging around off the edge of my card. Also, it fits in the envelope better. Last, I have my sentiment stamped on some craft cardstock and a bit of foam adhesive and then a bit of tape as well, just to make it the same level as the flowers. And then also that bit of tape adhesive kind of keeps it tacked down to the card and the level of the flowers. Last, I'm going to add a bit of Nuvo drops, especially the clear ones. I love the clear ones. I do a little practice on some scrap piece of paper to make sure that the nozzle's working correctly and my Nuvo drops are flowing well. And then I just add them to my card. I love that they look like little bits of dewdrops, which are perfect for flowers. So here's the finished card with that shabby chic look. Those gorgeous yellow flowers just pop against the craft and brown barn wall background, and you get a sparkle and shine from the clear Nuvo drops. I'll have all the supplies listed below. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked it. Plus, if you have any questions or a sweet comment, post below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed creating with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.